Hello, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk USC Women's Basketball. And today I have a superstar with us. I have the new GM, Selena Castillo. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Cece. Great to be here.
Yeah, and you know what? We're going to get right into it. I'm so honored that you decided to do this podcast with us. There's a lot of people who wanted to know who you are, what you do, your past, and so on and so forth, and how you're going to help this USC team grow. So I'm just going to ask you some questions and go ahead and let you just shoot your flow. Okay?
Sounds great.
Hello.
But first, I have a question for you. This Emory guard turned steals into strategy, then built one of the ACC's most followed programs at Duke. Who is this person?
Selena Castillo.
Oh, that'd be you. Okay. So listen, finish this line. Selena, the player, was,
Crafty, crafty, scrappy.
yeah. How tall are you?
About 5'6", five,
Five,
six.
six. And did you play against bigger guards when you played?
Yeah, I mean, I was usually one of the smaller players, but certainly one of the best, usually most well-conditioned players. So yeah, but I ran the point guard, two guard position. So luckily, that's typically where the shorter players end up. Um, so yeah,
Could you shoot?
yes, yeah, I was a pretty good shooter. I like to pass first, but definitely could knock down some shots.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you must have been a great defender because you're the all-time steals leader at Emory. And I have a question for you. How does your habits of the past as being such a great player at Emory with defense and your tenacity, how does that translate into some of the habits you carry with you today?
Certainly. One thing is certainly to shout out my squad back in the day. We had a really good defense in general, very defensive minded, and very good at it. So I benefited in a lot of ways and got a bunch of steals. But how it translates today, I think it's a few things. One, just the love for the game. You just like to play, you like to make plays, and you like to be around the game. And then two, I think it's like, translating things to strategy, right? At the end of the day, yes, you want to convert on the defensive end to make a bucket on the other end. So I think it's kind of like the translation piece, right? Converting ideas to execution, converting steals to strategy in a sense, right?
Now, from Tampa to Emory to major sports events like the Super Bowl and the Final Four, tell me what happened when you got to Duke and tell me how all that evolved.
Right. Where to start? Also, how much time do we have? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, so went to Emory, graduated 2014, like we said, from Tampa, Florida originally, and truly, anyone who knows me knows Tampa truly holds my heart. But came back home after graduating in 2014 and wanted to stay around the game. But really, my whole life, my plan was to go to law school. My family is all lawyers, so naturally, that's what I was going to do.
Wait, can I just cut
But
you can I just cut you off for a second? So do you and Lindsay often talk about lawyers since her family is a family of lawyers as well? I mean, how is that communication? Are you guys always talking, how lawyers talk?
That's an interesting question. And not explicitly, we don't necessarily talk about lawyers, but I think we have this understanding of the legal language, so to speak, because having grown up around it. So that's definitely an interesting question. I think we have an appreciation for lawyers and kind of it helps us as we're navigating all these contracts in this world today. I think it's kind of a mutual advantage that we both have.
Okay, sorry. Continue.
No,
I
no,
just
again, it's great.
yeah.
But law school, I have deep, yeah, profound respect, obviously, for the profession and a good understanding of what how they think. Right. And so, yeah, I was supposed to go to law school, but put it off for a year. I wanted to stay around the game, like I said. So I founded the Tampa Women's League that still runs to this day. I wanted to keep playing. So, like, why not make a league? And then was coaching high school in AAU and then was working at my mom's law firm to pay the bills somehow. And so, for doing those things, like at my mom's law firm, I was certainly doing the legal work, but I was also like, let me do your PowerPoints for your presentations. Let me do your website and marketing and, not really knowing what I was doing, but didn't quite want to go down that law path at that time. For high school and AAU, I was putting graphics together to get my kids recruited, running social media to kind of promote them and what we were doing with our players. And then obviously for the women's league, I had to get flyers together to recruit women to come play, and then not to mention learn how to run that whole operation. So was living the dream in a lot of ways, just around the game in my hometown. And then there was one step kind of before Duke came into play, in that about a year and a half of being at home. The executive director of the Tampa Bay Sports Commission, who at the time was a man, Rob Higgins, he was my high school coach's husband, so certainly had a pre-existing relationship. But I think I ran into him at an event, maybe in March of 2015, and about a month later, he calls me, basically wanting me to come interview. The college football playoff national championship game was going to come to Tampa in 2017, so he wanted to see about bringing me on to support some of the admin functions around the event. Like, again, at this time, I really thought either you play, you coach, or you become a lawyer. I did not know there was this whole other ecosystem. So I was like, sure, I'll come interview. At the end of the interview, I pulled an iPad out that had those graphics I referenced for those various entities, infographics, flyers, social media stuff. And I'm like, can you look at this, please? After the interview, the iPad. And he's like, sure, kind of looks at it. He's like, wait, you've done all this. I was like, I don't know. Like, this is kind of what I've been really doing. And he says, well, forget this initial kind of internship, like, come on in a creative role. He gave me like a 3-month contract and was like, let's see what you can do. That's when I opened Photoshop for the first time. I got very proficient, very fast at it, and just honed these creative marketing skill sets. And then there, though, being at the Sports Commission, I was doing anything from logo design, flyers, live social media coverage, event planning, and then the bidding process, right? So a lot of these major events I mentioned, like college football playoff, the women's Final Four has been there a record 4 times. The Super Bowl, right? That was just there a few years back. Shout out the Bucks. They won, the Super Bowl in their
Wow.
hometown stadium.
Yeah.
And the Super Bowl component was that I helped with the bid book. So, but years prior to an event happening, you submit a bid, right? And a lot goes into that. So I took all this information, data sets, Excel documents, and made it into like a pretty kind of cohesive, lengthy bid book. And then Rob and our team would deliver it to the Super Bowl headquarters, or the NFL headquarters, wherever, to submit the bid. And then from there, we got awarded that event. So I was doing a lot of that kind of
Wow.
work in Tampa. Now, of course, the event comes years later. So by the time the event was actually in Tampa, I had, been at Duke for a while by then.
Shout
But yeah,
out
that was
Tom
about
Brady.
2017. Oh, yeah, yeah. So that was, again, by 2017, the college football title game, came and went, kind of had things rolling back home, living the dream. And then I got a message on Twitter in September 2017 from one of the Duke coaches, basically to come join the Duke staff in a creative capacity. And so here I am, like this young, basketball obsessed, like business and legal minded young person who just wants to be around the game, but apparently is a little bit creative. And I got the opportunity to manage the social brand, the brand of Duke women's basketball. It was a no-brainer. Sight unseen, had never been to Durham, but I pick up and leave my hometown. And it was actually the same week that Rob offered me a full-time role. I had been on a
Wow.
contract up until that point because it was a new thing. Like, it was a new
Yeah.
role at the Sports Commission. It was a new role at Duke. And obviously we'll get to it, but my role here is a new role at USC. So that was kind of the journey there to get me to like Duke, right? And then 8 years later, I say we had it rolling. My previous boss, Kara Lawson, was just named the Olympic head coach. So certainly one of the best leaders of our game. We had just won an ACC championship, and things were going really well over in Durham. And I had my eye kind of on LA in general the past few years, but not. I had no specific thought of what that was going to look like. It's LA, right? You
Yeah.
want to come here for a reason. And so again, 8 years later at Duke, had it rolling. May 2025, I came to LA for the first time ever with one of my players, and doing some business things out here. And that same week, Lindsay reached out to kind of pick my brain. And it turned into 45 days later that I'm moving across the country. And it was a complete coincidence, of course, that when I was in LA for the first time ever was when Lindsay and I connected on this opportunity.
Wow, that's crazy. Now, back at Duke, your role was different, right? Your role was based around social media and kind of growing their social media platform, correct? Is that correct?
Yes, definitely. Again, there was an evolution the whole time, and I can touch on that some more, but I came in as creative director on the staff. So a full-time creative role, which was very groundbreaking at the time, especially for a women's program that I was at practices, I was traveling with the team, I was in recruiting, I was on the coaching staff, and I was running social. So it was a direct line between me and our head coach and me and recruiting, right, out to the world. And so it was very effective in that regard. And so while building that up and definitely had success in the early years at Duke. I have the data somewhere that there was a year a particular team might have won a national championship. In that same year, we like doubled them on Instagram, or there was no doubt some of the stuff we were doing was very cutting edge. And that's at Duke as a whole. The brand there with the men's basketball program, football, Olympic sports, like it's very great, the creative things they do. But we had our success on the women's side. And so but it evolved, right? And Kara Lawson came in, and Kara came from, a product of Coach Pat Summit, a product of USA Basketball, the NBA, the WNBA, ESPN, et cetera. And so she comes in with all this experience and kind of helped me elevate almost immediately, right? She has this distinct focus, discipline about her. And so it was kind of like you better get ready because this is about to be a journey ahead of us. And we're going to build. And so that helped me kind of grow into more of a business front office oriented role by the end there at Duke. But the focus was creativity and brand. But again, that is still the focus here. You just add in components, like this, the NIL license allocation known as, rev share, and that component and then what NIL offers off the court, there's a lot more, business aspects of front office, a true front office opportunity
Yeah.
here.
So, it's interesting that you say that you went from creativity to now this GM role. So I'm wondering, you and Lindsay met prior to this. You guys had crossed paths in the past, and we can touch on that. But what did she see in you, or what were your conversations like to say, hey, I want you to be more than just a creative here at USC. I want you to handle business. I want you to come in and be the general manager. What did she
Mhm.
see in you or what conversations did you have to make her say, you know what, you're it?
Right. We first crossed paths. Again, I had obviously known who she was for a while, having been a head coach and stuff. But we first crossed paths in 2019. She was with the Cavs organization, and one of my former college assistant coaches is currently still with the Cavs. But so I ended up doing a panel with the Cavs in 2019, and Lindsay and I were on it. So it was Lindsay, myself, Angel Gray with ESPN, and then Jamila Weidman, who's currently the Mystics GM. And it was a great panel. And that was when Lindsay, I think, first really put a face to the work I had been doing at Duke. I mean, again, the success, the numbers don't lie as far as what we did at Duke and the visibility we had, and they still have, but the visibility we had. And so I think that was the first time she kind of, again, put a face to the work. And then, in the Portland regional, they were playing after us. We had cross paths in the hallway, said hello. So there was that. And then, fast forward, yeah, May, I guess maybe she had talked to my college coach and I was kind of top of mind that she reached out. But we have that pre-existing kind of connection. And then I think, yeah, from there, I was someone where going back to 2017, when again, it was really one of the first times you had a full-time creative role on the staff. I think the Duke, again, what we were doing at Duke kind of was I was speaking at Final Fours. I was, mentoring and leading like a lot of folks in the industry in those early stages with such a unique role and skill set. I did my MBA while at Duke as well. So I finished that in 2024. It was a wonderful experience. Learned a lot of practical applications behind what I was exposed to, and obviously a great network with the Duke family. And then, so I was really doing a lot of these functions there by the end at Duke as far as just orienting the program in a business mindset. But obviously, basketball is our core product, and you have to win in basketball first and always, right? So it was kind of a blend of everything by the end. And I think Lindsay, it was the right timing. I think, again, I didn't think I'd quite leave Duke so soon, but I had my eye on LA for a while. And so I think it was just timing and alignment. And as you probably know with your own life, alignment is sometimes hard to come by. And I
Hmm.
truly felt like that's what this was here. And it's been 3 months. And it's been amazing. I'm like, it's exactly what you'd think it'd be coming to LA, being in the Trojan family, and a place where, again, we can really win in every way, um, keeping student athlete experience at the forefront.
That's awesome. What did you get your MBA in, and what's your major, your background?
Oh, academics. So, definitely kind of a nerd, in a lot of ways, and was always academically inclined. Maybe not as disciplined in my younger years as I should have been, but in undergrad, like I said, with the intention of going to law school, I studied Middle Eastern studies and Arabic. Really, I was
Wow.
focused on basketball. I was focused on just kind of, the discipline that goes into being a college student athlete, but definitely appreciated the academic side. Emory's a great school. But I was like, I'm going to go to law school and I'm going to get a good LSAT score. I'm a good test taker. I have, a wonderful network in the space. So that was that. And then while at Duke, having had been there all those years, I was itching to go back to school. In fact, I wanted to go to law school at that time, but you can't really do law school part time, at least not at Duke.
Yeah.
And so the MBA program offered an executive program where it's like you work full time, you go to school full time for 2 years. So that worked out great. And that was kind of my academic journey. I mean, I still like am interested in law school, but it's at a certain point you're like,
Wow.
okay, like, you're on a path, like, what do you need it or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of my, academic background. But I have a deep appreciation for learning, education. Being in a campus setting is special because you're around professors, you're around some of the most intelligent people on this earth. A place like USC has a global reach,
Yeah.
needless to say, and I'm excited just to continue to tap into it and learn and be around, like I said, just intelligent experts in their crafts.
Yeah. Okay, let's phase into your GM role at SC. But first I have a prompt. This position didn't exist when you started at Duke. And at USC, it's a front office game changer. What is?
General manager.
Yes, ma'am. How does that sound? I am the general manager for
No.
USC.
No, I mean, it's fine. It's helpful in ways because it, sets the tone for kind of what our program is about and how we function. And so certainly in those ways, it helps streamline, it helps, again, set the tone. But obviously it's not about me. It's about, again, our student athletes and their experience and like the greater Trojan community. But it's a mark of our program, Lindsay's vision, shout out Jen Cohen and USC athletics. It just kind of demonstrates their investment, their commitment, and their forward thinking vision, around our program.
So help me and everybody else that's listening or watching, help us understand what your general manager role consists of and how it's different from what you were doing at Duke.
Uh, Again, a lot of similarities: agents, NIL, brand, partnerships, alumni relations, external operations. So in those ways, a lot of similarities. The added components is again, you're dealing with direct institutional payments. Like I said, it's an NIL license that we're talking about, but it is referred to rev share this day and age. So it's this new landscape. Again, it just kind of officially establishes what is the front office for USC women's basketball. Um, and 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 that's what we're looking at here. I'm not trading players, but again, we recruit, recruiting, there's fundraising. Those are some differences, right? The pros to the college, there's several differences, a lot of similarities, but one of which is we're recruiting and fundraising, as a GM in college, whereas uh, the pros, it's you're trading players. Obviously, there's just a different dynamic in a lot of ways. Um, yeah, I mean, there's the transfer portal. You can't ignore
Yeah.
it. The goal is certainly continuity. The goal is certainly to establish a culture, of commitment, trust, vision that we're here for the main thing, which is to win at the highest level, compete at the highest level, and then develop great, wonderful young human beings on and off the court and everything that comes with that. But I think it's keeping the main thing, and that's it's a culture setting role. It's a you know more visible role, right? And I think it's just helpful. It's helpful in the recruiting process, to have someone. There's days I feel like I'm an encyclopedia or a dictionary and a thesaurus, and just have to always be ready to like listen to what the conversation is and help make it make sense to a lot of different constituents. Try to find common ground. So it's more of an evolution, I think, than anything, and it's an exciting time, certainly here at USC.
So with agents now in the picture, you're saying the differences between the pro level and the college level, but with agents involved, do you find yourself having a lot more conversations with agents, or is it a 50-50 share with the agents, players, and parents?
It's all of it. I mean, there's no, there's no cookie cutter kind of, I guess, profile or approach here. So it just depends. I think it's case by case where it might be, yes, agent heavy. Another time it might be, the family. Typically, the family is always a key. That's the main thing, right? The relationships you build and what our program truly offers to our student athletes. So just depends, I think.
What's the Trojan advantage when it comes to building a brand compared to other schools?
Um, I think the Trojan family is special. I think the community, it's been amazing. I think LA is very connected to SC, and I think the LA backdrop is special. The Trojan advantage, it's always rooted in the relationships at the end of the day, the people, it's just special. And like I said, 3 months in, and it feels like a lot longer because it's just been such a special experience. And so I think it's the combination of the people and then the backdrop of LA, the high expectations, the standard of excellence, everything the Trojan spirit really represents, is our advantage, and it's exciting. I think we're just very well positioned for the modern era, in every way.
Can you touch on the difference so people understand the difference between revenue share and NIL and how they coexist together or don't?
Mhm. Right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all athlete opportunity. It's all athlete, student athlete support. Again, revenue share is an NIL license that allows for direct institutional payments to student athletes. And then NIL, it's like which came first, the chicken or the egg? I mean, NIL is effectively the ability for student athletes to capitalize off their name, image, and likeness. One mechanism is through rev share, like I just described, but then another would be what they call true NIL, brand marketing, sports marketing, partnerships, um, you know, the ability to right enter into marketing endorsements and capitalize off their name, image, and likeness. So obviously very closely connected concepts, but there are some distinctions between the two.
Okay, and when you talk about marketing, especially to Gen Z, what are the differences to marketing to Gen Z than say like marketing to somebody like Gen X, like me? Because Gen Z is totally different, in the way they see things, the way they value things, what they feel their name, image, and likeness should be like. Can you touch on the marketing
Mhm.
experience for Gen Z?
Yes, and I think everyone in every sector of business has the same kind of challenges as it relates to your question. And I think I'm a millennial, right? Like, I think so. No, but
Yeah,
but
you're
at
a
the end of the
millennial.
day, yeah, at the end of the day, like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, the younger generation, they crave authenticity and storytelling, right? And so they can spot a fake a mile away. That's for sure. And then you want to be able to keep their attention, because if you can't keep their attention, you're just not going to have them long. And good luck at getting them back. And so keeping the authenticity, creativity, and storytelling at the forefront, leveraging the wonderful digital platform, social media that we have to reach that audience, but not ignoring tradition, legacy, heritage, the fan base that has been loyal for decades, or just the older generation. So I think it's a healthy balance of both. You don't want to ignore anybody. You want to touch everybody. It takes intentional effort internally. It takes strategic thinking. But yeah, you just want to find a good balance between appealing to the younger crowd, content experiences, really thinking outside the box, meeting them where they're at, but then again, just making sure to honor the tradition and legacy and those that have paved the way.
Is tapping into somebody that's like real shy and quiet a lot harder than that of somebody that's, you know, personality driven like me? You know what I mean? I can just talk to anybody, but there are some people that there's a lot of potential within them, but they're just so introverted that you have to do some work, especially in this era, to get them to open up.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean it's dealing with humans at the end of the day, people first, an athlete first environment, and really it starts obviously in the recruiting process that we're going to truly get to know you as a human off the court, and we're truly going to align like what's around you to that, to support you in every way. Um, and so yeah, I think it's just building relationships early and often, and keeping again student athlete experience and supporting them in every way on and off the court.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to halftime real quick. Okay. This is a great discussion, by the way, but I want to do some rapid fire with you and let people get to know who you are. Right. So, rapid fire: ice cream or cookies?
Cookies.
Favorite flavor, like chocolate chip, peanut butter?
Really, I like chocolate chip cookies, but without the chocolate chips.
What?
What?
It's just you just use brown sugar, and that was a thing my dad liked. But I mean
How
any
can you have
cookies, sugar
chocolate chip
cookies.
cookies without chocolate chip? I don't
I think you
understand the
just use you
logic
just
in
use
that.
like brown sugar, I think, and you just don't put the chocolate chips in. And I like chocolate chip cookies as well, but the real ones I like would be
So would
no
you just
chocolate
call them
chips.
brown sugar cookies? Maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay,
But
brown
yeah, but that's
sugar
not
cookies.
usual. Like usually I just get chocolate chip. I do like confetti cookies. Yeah.
Okay. Do you like crumble or insomnia?
I had insomnia most recently. Yeah, with a yeah, insomnia.
Insomnia. Crumble is, I don't, a lot of people, it's either hit or miss with crumble. So I don't know. But
I don't know, they're very sweet. They have very unique flavors, but they're both good. I just get like the simple, like I say, like sugar, confetti, chocolate chip. It's just kind
yeah.
of basic.
Um, what's your favorite hidden gem food spot in LA so far?
There's a lot more certainly to tap into, but I can't think of the name. But I play pickup on the weekends when I can, and on the way home, there's a Mexican spot that I stop at that just has great, great Mexican food.
What's your favorite Mexican food to eat? Like tacos,
I'll just
enchiladas?
do like tacos. I definitely do rice and beans, all the spicy sauces that they have, and yeah, but tacos mostly.
Is it authentic? Because you can get Mexican food and then there's authentic Mexican food.
It's authentic. It's
Okay.
it's it's all Spanish
Uh,
speakers.
you're gonna have to hook me up with that. I gotta try it. Okay.
Okay.
Game night fuel: coffee, tea, or energy drink?
I'm a black coffee kind of girl. So usually depends on game time, right? I do like an energy drink every once in a while. But usually late afternoon, a hot black coffee is my go-to.
No sugar, no cream, just black. I just don't get that. It's not bitter to you, or you like the bitter
It's more
taste?
it's more a function than anything that I'm after than taste. Unfortunately, I mean it is an easy way to cut out, some calories or all that. But it's more, yeah, it's more of a function of what I need at that
Wow.
time than
Okay.
anything.
Binge watching. Do you binge watch any shows, or have you lately? Or what was your favorite show to binge watch when you had time?
No, I haven't lately. I do like the show Suits. That's one that every once in a while I do binge watch that. Um, yeah, we can go with Suits.
Okay. You're a drama person? Are you a comedy person or drama?
Uh, I mean, just good quality. This is so cheesy, but good quality storytelling, cinematography. I don't know, good
Yeah.
production value behind it. I don't like scary
Yeah.
movies, but yeah, I like comedy. I like just good quality storytelling, in any genre, but not scary.
Amusement parks. Are you a roller coaster girl?
I'm a Disney girl, that's for sure. At least I grew up, should
Yeah,
I say, going to Disney, being from Tampa. But yeah, I like roller coasters. I get really scared. I get scared on airplanes, but
yeah,
I'll do
me
it,
too.
you know. But I like the thrill. Sure, yeah.
Okay. What's one Tampa thing you wish you could bring to LA?
Certainly the people, obviously, but I would say the one thing I do say, the beaches here are wonderful. The water is a little cold, so the warm water that you can just kind of sit in all day, there in the Tampa beaches is what I would say.
Okay. So you're a beach girl. Do you go to the beach often?
I love the beach. I have not been out here as much. I mean, I've been around Santa Monica, Venice, up and down the coast, Malibu, whatever, which is stunning. I haven't actually really spent time leisurely on the beaches here, and but I am very much a beach girl. And in the meantime, I'm at my pool, at my building, pretty much any chance I can get because I just love the sun.
Okay. Last halftime question. Favorite genre of music?
It depends. I mean, hip hop is probably the go-to. But there's times I want classical music, times I want house music, times I want no music. But hip hop is usually the go-to.
Okay, hip hop. You're from the South, so name a hip hop group that you would listen to in a heartbeat.
Mm.
Trina, Trick Daddy, Outkast,
Yeah, Trina,
Outkast.
Trina and Trick Daddy, and shout out to one of my good childhood friends, Shelby, because we had a Trina song that we really liked back in the day. But certainly, yeah, love to them. They're from down south. Outkast, I went to college in Atlanta, so have some love for Outkast.
Okay.
Travis Porter comes to mind on the note of college in Atlanta. But I like Mac Miller a lot. I like Travis Scott. I like Drake. Um,
Oh,
but I like a lot, a diverse
yeah.
selection.
If you're gonna say Drake, you got to give Kendrick some love. I'm
Now,
sorry.
Kendrick, let me tell you about Kendrick. Cartoons and cereal, the real ones know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. I've been with
Okay.
Kendrick since for a long time. And so, of
Okay.
course, and certainly being in LA, yeah, you got to show your guy Kendrick some love. But I'm a
Yeah.
day one kind of person with him.
Okay. That's nice to know. I would have never thought being from the South because the South they kind of
No,
show haterade to Kendrick.
I don't get into all that. And
Yeah.
Dom Kennedy was another one for what it's
Yeah.
worth. He's an LA or West Coast guy. And so college was a lot of Dom Kennedy and Kendrick Lamar, no doubt.
I can name some Southern like 3 6 Mafia.
Okay, yeah, they're a good
Yeah.
one.
See, 3 6
My
Mafia.
ringtone in like eighth grade was a song by them.
Yin
So
Yang
yes,
Twins. The
yep,
Yin Yang Twin. Yeah. See, Yin Yang Twins. They were pretty popular for a minute.
very popular. Those some of those beats and songs. Yeah, no, the South has great hip hop music in general. I mean, jazz, like
Yeah.
jazz music. But certainly it was
R&B
fun.
with
Yeah,
Usher.
growing up in the South. Oh yeah, R&B, Usher,
Yeah. Yeah.
Usher. There's a lot. Aaliyah.
Yeah.
Uh, Yeah, and I love Spanish music. I do. I grew up on a lot of Spanish music. I had some close family friends who were big in the music scene down in South America. So uh definitely had a lot of exposure to Spanish music, Latin music.
That's awesome. Okay, we got to keep it moving because we're on a time schedule here. Uh, this city gives USC women's basketball an edge no other program can match. What is?
Los Angeles.
Okay, so let's dive into LA real quick. How does LA change the way you build the USC brand?
I think it's again change. It offers so much opportunity. Is what LA does. It's the epicenter of sports, entertainment, and culture. Um, it is interesting because it requires you to bring your A game in that we're not just competing with college brands. We're talking about pro franchises. We're talking about a lot of interests in the area. You're talking about Hollywood, of all things. So like you have to really bring your A game. It challenges us to cultivate the USC brand in a forward thinking, modern way, not getting complacent, not getting comfortable, and staying unified, in our pursuit of excellence and our pursuit of building the community, and really just continuing to establish the SC presence in LA. So I think it's just, again, the epicenter of so many sectors of business, plenty of Fortune 500 companies, a family feel at the same time, a lot of pride in LA and again in SC. So I think it offers everything. It offers everything you would want, and I think it challenges you to bring your A game.
Now, let me ask you a question. How does balancing the bright lights of LA and all these opportunities you have with NIL, with working with donors, how does that change the landscape of LA? Because the donors are more traditional, right? And so the bright lights are more bright lights. So how do you bring those two together?
I think it's always finding common ground. And luckily, the SC family is truly a family. And so I think it's leaning on the relationships in reality. Again, for all those years of my career building social media, I would always say, get rid of social media, then we can talk about how to be good on social media. And what I mean by that is it matters what's happening in the real world first and the relationships that you're cultivating. And I think the foundation our players have with the SC family, not just SC as a whole, but the women's basketball alumni, the women of Troy, and then, yes, the SC family as a whole. I think staying rooted in that foundation and that support system helps you navigate the bright lights. And I think it helps you feel a sense of support, comfort, and home, when you're playing on the biggest stages, and around, some of the biggest names, really, again, in business, in sports and entertainment, and they're just always around. So I think the key to navigating the bright lights is to stay rooted in our SC family and remember, what we're all here for.
What do you think there's one area that USC hasn't tapped into as far as the landscape of LA that you would like to help?
It's interesting being new, it's almost like I think it's a reflection of me more than anything, whatever my answer might be here. I think it's a very impressive enterprise. I think SC has done so many things so well. I don't know. I think how I would say it is you can always tap in internally and continue to unify internally. There's just so much USC has to offer and so much success USC has had in every unit, every which way. So to tap in even more, I think just requires continued unification across the board, alignment across key stakeholders. There might be groups on campus that I don't even know exist that could offer so much opportunity, always for my players first, but then just again for the program and USC as a whole. So it's been wonderful on that note, the last 3 months, making a lot of those connections across campus, throughout athletics, et cetera. So I think it's more keeping the main thing at the center, keeping a forward focused vision in mind while honoring our rich tradition, and then ultimately continuing to unify and just build more, is what I think I would say.
Yeah, now I've watched Lindsay since she's come in, and I've watched her build and build and build. And she's building. She takes a great puzzle and she just fits the pieces in where she needs to fit. Help me or talk a little bit about how you've seen Lindsay do the things she does, how she navigates as a professional, and using her mind the way she does to navigate and create the culture that she's created, and how you're fitting into that.
Lindsay is very smart, very intelligent, and her brain processes a lot of things, quickly, and then kind of manifests, what should happen next quickly and efficiently. And being here, that's when I was first connecting with a lot of different folks. Again, there was such an outpouring of support for me when I first got here and continues to be, but a lot of people reaching out. And in a lot of cases, they couldn't wait to tell me how smart Lindsay is and how they get blown away when they hear her in her zone, and she's really a basketball savant. She has the NBA background, which was very appealing to me. She, of course, had success at the college level previous to that. She was a head coach at a very young age, a high level assistant
Yeah,
coach right out of college, and then
yeah.
became a head coach at a young age, and again has had success at basically every stop. So I think it's what I hope I've helped is bring a level of experience as to here's what a front office can look like. Again, Duke basketball was a great place to be for 8 years, and I think Lindsay knew that in bringing me in. And so, here's how we can think about things a little differently. Here's how we can build for the modern era. But there's no doubt, Lindsay's had this vision since she came a few years back. Obviously, kind of. Reinvigorated a lot of things with our program, and the success on the court, has matched it. You can't deny, what the last few years have looked like on the court. And so, I think I've just come in and bring a different set of eyes, a different background, a different set of skills, but one that she can lean on. And I think, um, it's been really wonderful being here. I can't say enough. It's been a seamless transition for me. And a lot of it's because, again, Lindsay is Ivy League educated, has NBA experience, has established success as a head coach. And so I think that makes my job certainly a little easier, right? Because that piece you don't have to worry about.
Yeah. What do you think this program will look like 5 years from now? Or what do you hope it should look like 5 years from now?
Right. I mean, you always think best in class. I think it looks like that. Hopefully, it looks like that sooner, right? If
Yeah.
not present day, but best in class, gold standard. I think being an athlete first program, a program built for the modern era, a program committed to women's basketball and committed to being a leader in what that investment looks like. So that's definitely where I would see us over the next 5 years.
Okay. I'm a recruit. I know I'm fantastic. I'm Gen X, but I can still ball. So I'm the oldest player that you're probably going to recruit. Sell me an NIL package that you think I'll bite on.
Well, I always say before we talk this mysterious NIL, I think it's looking at the holistic opportunity, right? Few places can offer a championship pedigree and a legitimate shot at championships year in and year out. The rich tradition we have, the opportunities off the court. I think few places can offer, what we can call the best of both worlds when you look at sports and entertainment. Um, and so, again, when you look at the holistic opportunity, I think it's a no-brainer. There's plenty of tactics we can implement around your brand to support you so you can win in every way. But I think I would start with the holistic opportunity, before diving into tactics around the brand.
Look, I'll tell you one thing. I'm a foodie. So if you can get me some NIL deals that incorporate food in it, look, just where can I sign? I'm good.
I think what we could do, the type of thing we could work on is, leaning into the food truck scene, right? And having maybe a menu item, that aligns with you, and maybe it's your favorite taco. And then we can have that, coordinate that around a game day so fans can enjoy your favorite taco at a food truck after the game. So I think that's the type of thing we could try to make happen.
That's awesome. Could you imagine if you get into the food truck side of things that after a game, there's a food truck show lined up outside Galen Center where fans can go out and go to the food trucks and get a food item that's under their player's name. Say like you have three food trucks out there. You know what I mean? And I mean, who knows? You know what I mean? But that would be awesome. A brand calls you the last minute about an activation at Galen. What's your checklist?
Step one with anything, especially inbound, is get all the information. What is all the information around this? What am I even looking at? What am I weighing? The next question would be, to answer the question, is it fan centric? Because it's game day, you want it to kind of be centered around fans. Now, if it directly benefits my players, also we'd explore that as well on a game day. But definitely want to keep the fans in mind in this kind of analysis. And then lastly, I am someone who I pride myself in my preparation. I know USC does as well. And so you'd have to be able to answer the question, can we execute this? Are we ready? Can we pull this off? So I think it's those things, getting all the information, answering the questions. Does this align with our fans and or our players? And then are we prepared to execute this?
If you could change one thing about women's basketball tomorrow, what would it be?
The TV spots, obviously new to the Big Ten and excited for Fox being a partner with Fox, and I know they do a great job around women's basketball, but I do think just better TV times, prime time opportunities for women's basketball in general, I think is what I would change.
And last question, because we're at our time mark right now. Final whistle, I'm going to call it. One promise to Trojan players and one promise to Trojan fans.
To Trojan players, to my players, I'll always advocate for opportunities for you. That's what my career has been built on, and that's what I'm here to do, and that's what I'll continue to do is fight for opportunities for you. Um, Fans, it's keep supporting, stick with us. We're going to be a team worth showing up for. We're going to be a program worth staying behind. It's going to be a fun ride ahead. So buckle up and just stay with us on this journey.
Hey, Selena, thanks a lot for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed your time here with us and talking about your role and just yourself in general. And I'm so thankful that you are at USC and you are going to do a fantastic job. So that's it for Let's Talk USC Women's Basketball today. And what I always say is fight on.
Fight on.